In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Tilda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl, I'm playing Kashi Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged cleric of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the dungeon master on this adventure. Hello, everyone!
Hello! Hi, Dan.
Hi!
How's it going?
Just a little wake-up call for everyone there. Yeah, you all good? You all doing well?
Yeah, I don't seem to have had the Weetabix you've had, though.
I'm just psyched. I'm pumped for session 6.
Cool.
So, without further ado, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Marvelous. Cormyr is an old land whose life stretches back to the Dale Reckoning. And old lands are full of old powers, old secrets, and old oaths. Whilst the elves would eventually begin their migration back into Cormanthor, the magics taught to some of the humans who had pledged to protect the forests remained. The history of druidism in Cormyr is therefore a long and storied one. Protectors of nature have proven to be some of the most influential figures in the centuries of Cormyr's existence. Some, such as Hullock, were so great they would have entire forests named after them. When the goblins, or the dragons, or the shadow came, the druids stood alongside their fellow Cormyrians in defiance of the invaders. Some say that you only truly become a legend when you die and your body is laid to rest. What happens, however, if the spirit lingers and is not amused by recent events?
I think that was a bit of a spoiler, I think, Dan. We're gonna be fighting
Don't know what you're talking about. That was completely hypothetical.
a undead dragon is what we're fighting. I know now.
So, we find the Warhounds, breathless, dusty, coughing, in some sort of underground warren, having freshly been chased in by what appeared to be a piloted red dragon that you were attempting to hunt down with the two stalwart society mercenaries, Helenus Fish and Axicas. In a tense encounter, you managed to evade the dragon and avoid its deadly fiery breath, only to be chased into the barrow, which you believe may well have been a camp for the dragon's riders. To have a large amount of debris and rock fall from the ceiling to seal you in. And as you kind of try to wave the dust and the stales, the damp smell of earth from your faces, Katya's glowing short sword illuminates the area around you. You find yourself in front of what appears to be a like a pillar of earth that rises up to the ceiling, almost as like a central pillar, and from it emerge a series of old and girthy roots.
Girthy roots.
Girthy roots.
Alright.
Anton.
Those of you who are more perceptive, so Balthazar and
Right.
Badger, you hear, like, you can hear the sound of the earth above you kind of still shifting and resettling, but you can also hear the sound of a dragon roar getting fainter and fainter, along with some receding wing flaps. In the commotion, you also hear Hiram next to you. You hear a grunt of pain come from the tiefling woman to your left. And as you all start to pick yourselves up, you notice that she rolls kind of onto her side and is clutching at her ankle with a grimace, like her fangs bared as she grimaces. She holds her right ankle. And Helenus, rushes over to see to her. What do you do?
Was that to all of us?
Yeah, sorry. Well, let's start from bottom. Zumbo, what do you do?
I think once he's caught his breath, try and sort of regain his composure a bit. And right, well, looks like we ain't going back that way. We need to get out of here, I reckon. It's quite enough side quests for one day. What is there two? Are there sort of two tunnels in front of us, like a T-junction, Dan?
So this pillar seems to, like you can go left or right around this pillar.
Okay.
Zumbo, from where you're sat, and with the aid of Katya's glowing sword, the sword itself, because of you all kind of scattered around Katya, your shadows extend out and create these almost kind of ghoulishly monstrous shadow figures that kind of dance across the walls of what appears to be some sort of underground tomb. But you do see what appears to be a tunnel to the right, and also as you look the other way, a tunnel to the left.
Can I guess as a sailor, I might be able to I guess smell weather changes in the air and things. So I wonder if I can smell fresh air coming from somewhere.
Okay. So first off then, if I could have a just click on Zumbo. Let's have a survival. I'm going to call that a survival check.
Okay. Thanks. 18.
Okay. So as you take a big old sniff, which we're used to on the deck of a ship, just dust and dirt that's clearly not been disturbed for some considerable time is hoovered up your nostrils, and as you like cough and splutter, you realise that the air you're breathing is not fresh in any way, shape, or form. You appear to be trapped. Like utterly trapped. There's no circulation down here.
Right, well, that ain't good, folks. Probably have to dig our way out. I say we just start exploring until we find somewhere where the earth's a bit thinner.
Hiram, what do you do?
In time-wise, at this point, Hiram is shaking very hard and tries to say to who was his name? I think just Axikas, like, I'm sorry, I just need a minute. I'm really sorry.
Okay, and Axikas has her eyes scrunched shut, and she gently opens one eye to look to you. and like the moonlight emanating from Katya's blade dances across her kind of solid black eye, her black eyeball, and she don't mention it, she says. And you can see her like it looks like she's trying to move her foot, but it's just kind of it doesn't seem to be moving as much as she wants it to, and she every time she does. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Not at this point.
Okay. Catcher.
Cash is looking around, sort of casting on light, seeing what she can see. While Jewel, I imagine, is at the fallen rocks, just digging, snuffling, trying to sort of like dig through it.
Yeah, he is futilely with every claw swipe, and like he removes some dirt, and more dirt just falls into its place.
Firstly, she checks if everyone's okay. It's like, is everyone all right? Did everyone, like, moving the sword around to make sure everyone's there?
Yeah,
and then
I'm good.
She Kasia pats Balthazar on the chest, like, good. And then she looks around to Axacast. And she asks, "Are you okay?" And inadvertently casts healing word on her.
Ooh.
Okay. So as you say that, you see like the wincing tiefling, like her grimace softens slightly, and like she's able to open her eyes slightly, and you see her almost kind of sheepishly look up at at Helenus, who's on one knee, with both her hands held around Axacas's ankle, and yeah, Axacas takes a deep breath and I think I live. Yes, she says.
Didn't look like that big of a fall. I'm sure you'll be okay. Come on. We're gonna need you.
I think it might be sprained or twisted. I don't know. And she looks around at all the uneven terrain around her, and it is not the perfect condition for hopping.
Kasia looks around to Balthazar and like, and between here and Balthazar, are one of you two able to carry her?
Sure, I could help.
Well, what's Badger doing?
I think Badger's probably gonna go over to Hiram and sort of crouch. Well, she wouldn't have to crouch actually. If Hiram's like sitting on the floor, she sort of just goes up to him and sort of says, I think she's going to put a hand on his shoulder and say, Hiram, I want you to look at me. I want you to breathe. And I want you to find 5 things you can see and listen out for 4 things you can hear and just sort of touch the ground around you, okay? I think it's important you stay here for a few minutes. We're going to go and start having a look around, but I need you to look after Axacas, okay? And she then goes sort of to help Zumbo with looking for a good place to dig our way out.
Okay, so as you kind of say this to Hiram to start kind of calming him down a bit, you take a moment to look around as well, and what you see is that this area you're in seems to wrap around the stone pillar like the earth pillar that you're kind of in the shadow of. You can see there are 2 tunnels off to the left and right. Off to the left. That don't look particularly deep, but you can see. It's difficult to see exactly what it is that's at the end of these tunnels. Perhaps maybe only 40 foot away, for example. But you can see something in them from where you are.
Cool.
Hiram.
Yep.
Let's do a. Well, how do you respond? How's Hiram feeling in response to Badger's words?
He will definitely start, touches the ground and starts, looking around, focusing on things just to ground himself.
Okay. Yeah. As you start to, as the world starts to kind of slow down and become a bit more understandable and digestible, you start following Badger's eye line, and you also see these tunnels from where you're sat, where you're ever so slightly closer. The tunnel immediately to your left, you can see shapes on the floor which look suspiciously like skulls.
That's gonna calm him down.
Piles of them.
Oh shit.
Jeez.
As you know, at least it's something to count. Yeah, I think he is going to,
Oh, shit.
as loud as he can. It's like, Badger,
Yes.
there are some corpses that way.
Oh, right. Okay.
And Badger, as you look over what at first glance looked like rocks and small rocks, you focus in on them, and with your 90s CCTV dark vision, you can start to make out the black pits on them as the eye sockets of what appear to be piles of skulls and bones and other assorted body parts, internal body bits. Slate.
Hello.
You're stood next to Emily, who currently Emily is wearing this the expression she wears is one of almost like this weird mix of determination, anger, frustration. Like she's just been scolded. And Drool is currently just scratching at this wall endlessly. What do you do?
I will say to Emily, "Don't worry, you're gonna get him soon." And then I'll kind of do a little ka-ding, and then look around and kind of, I imagine, do I know much about this place?
Give me a l'histoire check.
Oh, that was a critical fail.
Well. You have no knowledge of this place.
Okay, that's fine.
So
this is so critical.
Yeah, so you don't know, you have no knowledge of what this place is, but based on what you knew outside, you suspect that this is, you are in the barrow. So you are in the barrow of, you presume, Narvla Sky Shatter.
Narvla Sky Shatter.
Yeah, who was the owner of the large dragon skull that topped this barrow. That history check means that you don't know what's in here.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I will stomp up to the tree. I imagine that's a tree where all the gnarled root starts to the bottom of the.
Yeah, so it's effectively like an earthen pillar, just a mat, like a column of earth that's seemingly holding up the ceiling, but then there are roots that are splayed out of it.
Is from. Okay, on the sides, are there any druidic marking?
In the light of Catcher's blade, you can see that there are kind of druidic markings. They're not kind of sentences per se, but they're more tokens of eternal rest, protection, warding, celebration, grief.
Cheeky graffitis.
Yeah, so it's like that. These are concepts that are like ideas that are written on the walls.
I think I'll probably be like reading them out quite disinterestedly. Like, ugh, they always yammer on and on about concepts, ideas, but it's never bloody just, directions or, this way to the easy way out, alternative exit this way. And then
gift shop
from
this
that,
way.
From that, I'll be reading out some of those as I go, kind of just muttering them, I guess. But if I put my hand on the root, one of the roots, does it feel alive, or is it a dying? Is it a dead, fully dead?
It feels angry.
Okay, here goes nothing. I will cast again.
Mm-hmm.
Speak with plants.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
That's fine. So as you cast Speak with Plants, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. How did you? Hang on. Let's go. Okay. So, cool. So yeah, I've got a good idea. So as you cast with Speak with Plants and you lay your hand back on the root, your head is suddenly filled with the sounds of what seem to be hundreds of voices. And they're all shouting. And it's just like walking into, like, it feels like your head has just been hit by a sledgehammer of sound. As you, it's shocking enough that it makes you pull your hand back in shock.
Yeah, I think Rowan would scream a bit when they pull their hand back.
Yeah.
But,
To everyone else, it looks as if Rowan has just touched this root and been hit by a bolt of lightning and just flinches back.
And but determined, kind of shake off and go, okay.
In that moment, you know that this seems to be almost like these roots are almost like a highway of woodland spirits that are kind of contained in and around you. You just heard all of them at once.
I will again just very tentatively, but kind of just forcefully, kind of put my hand back on the plant and back on the root, and say, "Please, just for a moment, please, just can you help us, please? We don't want to be disturbing anything here. We just want to get out as quick as possible. Please, can you stop?"
Like, it just sounds like, it's almost like the sound of static. There are so many voices, but as you try to focus and try to listen through, there almost seems to be like a chorus of voices which kind of begin to rise out of the noise. Tear, blood and flesh, rip and tear, kill them all, rip out their throats, eat their hearts, consume them.
I think Rowan will be pretty much in tears by now. Like, we need to get out of here as soon as possible, and they're not being very helpful. This is not a nice place to be, and I want to just get out. Can we just go somewhere now?
Katja puts a hand on Rowan's shoulder. I'm sorry, after you, Anton.
I go, hey, you'll be okay.
It's just full of death and blood and murder, and there's just rip out there. I don't want. Can we go now?
Lass, you're starting to damage my calm. Could you just keep it down a sec?
Balthazar, as you've got one hand on Rowan's shoulder, like, you look around and you can see the druidic runes that you can read around you are ones of sort of like happiness, grief, protection, warding, etc., etc. And it reminds you. You just have this idea that it kind of reminds you of the sort of kind of tokens of gesture of affection that you might see around any sort of graveyard. You know,
Gotcha.
there's not like prose written, but there are these concept, these gestures, if you will.
I had an idea. I was just thinking, reading all these scriptures in this underground, dark, cloistered space, with Catcher using her magical light. I'm just wondering if it might bring up memories to Balthazar.
Okay.
Being in that sort of enclosed space. Can I use that feature that I have, which is called? What is it called, Dan?
So which skill are you trying to use? By the way,
I'm just trying to do a history check just to go back. Knowledge from previous life is what I want to use.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Can I play that? Yeah.
Okay. So
specifically the reading in sort of this dark underground space would be quite thematic for him.
So as you've kind of got one hand on Rowan's shoulder, and as you kind of look around, looking at the writing, trying to make sense of everything, the dark and the gloominess, and then there's Zumbo who's just like, you need to shush. You're starting to disturb me. It's sort of like, Zumbo's voice starting to raise, Rowan just starting to become a bit hysterical at your feet, and it's the sound of the panicked crying that begins to form an image in your mind, and you remember a dark room illuminated by a number of candles, a figure on the floor in front of you, as if they've been knocked backwards by something, and shadowy figures in the room, in the doorway, and the voice from the figure on the floor. Please, no, please, don't do this. And when you snap back, it's Rowan. I want to leave. You hear her say.
All right. That's interesting. Balthazar will shake it off and go, "Oh yeah, it'll be okay, Ron. We'll find a way out."
We need to go now. We need to go now before anything.
So, what's anyone can jump in. What would you like to do?
Would Zumbo be able to see a bit further? I have got dark vision, if that matters. I don't know if it matters.
Do you?
Yeah. 120 feet.
Really?
Warlock.
Oh, you get it for... Okay, yeah, fair enough. In which case, yeah, so from where you're sat, well, yeah, so you're happy to pad around. I mean, it doesn't look that gloomy in here, actually. The room immediately in front of you does look very dark. Very, very dark, however. You can see something at the end of the room, so you know it's not particularly deep. It just seems very dark. The other way, so slightly up a bit, you can see what appears to be another tunnel with what look almost like bushes or something. So hang on, you've got 120 feet dark vision, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Well, let's give you that.
Thank you.
Whoop, there you go.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks different.
That makes a lot of difference. So yeah, Zumbo, as you kind of pad off into the darkness, you see this very, very dark room to your right. A bit further up, you see a room, like a small... Like, looking at it, it just looks almost like a big collection of... What are they? Are they mushrooms?
I think seeing those, Zumbo will pause for a minute, It. Rowan, was it? You got a bit of a thing for mushrooms, haven't you?
Well, well, I know someone who does, but then Rowan
Fancy
will
another
go
game of poker?
closer. But because Rowan doesn't have dark vision, she'll go. Can't you? Can you come too, please?
Zumbo, as you've turned to ask Rowan this, as you turn back, you notice that to your left are a number, up, around the wall are what appear to be 4 pedestals. They look like, and there's a portion of the wall, whereas the walls of this place seem to be a combination of sort of like dirt, earth, rock. This portion of the wall appears to be thick streams of root or vine or something. You can't tell in the black and white. Just unlike the rest of the walls, this bit just seems to be like a barricade of something rooty or viney.
Okay.
Thick, like wider than you.
All right. Is Rowan kind of trying to move towards me in the dark, or are you just waiting for Katia to?
Katia will step up, but she sort of keeps the torch between the branches at the moment, so Helenus, Axicast, and Hiram and Badger can still see. But she steps a little forward to cast some light into the area. Like, there you go, Rowan.
Yeah. So I'll tell the others what I've seen, and while I'm doing that, I'll kneel down and pick up a loose bit of rock if I can, or a bit of clump of dirt, and just throw it into the dark tunnel gently. Okay.
So as you throw it in, you watch it as this rock kind of flies off, and it hits ground, and you realise it's just the ground. The ground's at the normal height, like where it should be. And this rock kind of rattles along and bumps into what appears to be. You realise now you're kind of a little bit closer. It seems to be a sarcophagus, not like a stone one. You don't know where it's made from, but it hit something.
Oh no.
And you realise that the floor around it is just darker. It made the same noise as like the stone and earth floor that you're stood on, though.
Okay.
# no losers.
Yeah, I don't think Zumbo's sure about that. It's a bit unnerved about not being able to see too well down there.
Yeah. Because as I say, when it comes to dark vision, 90s CCTV camera footage, that's what you're seeing in right now.
Yeah.
Let's spin back round. Hiram, does Hiram feel on his feet, or is he holding fire, seeing what everyone else is seeing?
I might need you to repeat that for me because I heard you, but it was very robotic.
Okay, no worries. So what's Hiram doing? As you've noticed that Zumbo and Rowan are just kind of starting to creep off to the right. As Axicast is slowly trying to kind of pick herself up, and she's very lightly kind of stepping on her ankle and just kind of leaning up against the wall, and like Helenus is trying to help her up, and Axicast is, I've got it. Says she, and then she props herself up against the wall.
Hiram is, seems calmer now. The shaking has stopped. He turns around at one point and to locate Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And once he has done that and know that she's fine, she's a draw, he turns to the adventurer and say like, "Okay, I'm really sorry again. Can I help?" And offers a hand.
Axicast also just kind of like waves you away in the same way that she's waving off Helenus. And like as the tiefling has her head down, like her eyes closed, there's this like flash of irritation and concern. across Helenis's face. And I mean, you would know. I mean, it's the look of someone who isn't being allowed to look after someone they care for. But yeah, Helenis, this flash flickers across Helenis's face, and then she turns around, and she can see a little bit, and as she looks around and kind of peers into the darkness slightly. What is this place? She says.
No idea, sorry. Hoping maybe you would know a bit more since you have been tracking this dragon longer than us.
And Helenis looks around and, well, we were tracking the dragon, but all we had was a location. We didn't know what was here. And she looks at the two of you. Can't you two see in the dark?
Yes.
And she just kind of raises an eyebrow. Shouldn't I be asking you what this place is then? And she turns around. Like, you see her eyes kind of shifting from side to side. She looks uneasy, and she's still got the bow, but you just see her kind of her fingers fiddling on the bowstring as if she's clearly on edge.
Can I ask? Sorry, would Rowan have heard them saying what kind of place is it? What is this place, basically?
Yeah.
If that is the case, then Rowan would shout back, "It's a tomb! You can tell it's a tomb! It's a druidic tomb!" And then...
And Helenis from the other side hears you shout and then looks to you and you, Badger and Hiram, and... Oh, good. A druidic tomb. Brilliant.
Yes, actually, it's brilliant. It's one of the most brilliant... And what was the name of the druid again, sorry?
Narvla Skyshatter.
Narvla Skyshatter, actually. So, quite a famous one.
Okay, does that help us getting out of here?
Yeah, you just see Rowan. She disappears around the corner. Katya.
I think Catch is kind of in the middle. She's kind of playing head tennis at the moment between the different different groups. Like, just making sure the light sort of reaches everyone it needs to. But I think what I'm actually going to do is use my free one of these a day. Catch is sort of leaning up against the rock shining. She closes her eyes for a second and she starts listening, using detect thoughts. And she kind of just listens to the surface thoughts of everyone. Not quite realizing she's doing it, but just wants to hear like the surface thoughts of everyone. Apart from Joel, who's not intelligent enough.
Oh, diggy dig.
Well, actually, he's just intelligent enough that she'll probably just get.
Okay. So, when we say surface, most on their mind at the moment, can you discern what thoughts are coming from who?
Well, I think.
Or would they just be voices in your head?
At the moment, I think. Well, depends if people think in their in their accents, don't they?
Yes.
Okay. So I think she's just closing her eyes, and she knows she hears voices at the moment, but I guess she'll start putting two and two together if she hears like a very sort of sea shanty-esque one. She'd be able to figure that Zumbo,
Okay.
Upbeat and perky is going to be Badger.
Tell you what, I'll let you players, you can decide. So, Balthasar, what's your surface level thought?
Well, it's kind of dark in here, but I mean,
okay, cool.
There's quite a few of us.
That's it. Surface level. It's kind of dark in here. Elle, what's Rowan thinking?
Maybe someone else should be doing this instead. Maybe this isn't for me right now.
Maybe someone else should be doing it. Zumbo.
Keep cool, Zumbo. Keep cool. They need you to keep cool.
Okay. Balthasar. Oh no, you've done that. Sorry. Hiram.
What the fuck?
Badger.
Be out of here in a jiffy.
You also hear what would it be? Actually, you probably hear nothing right now. Okay. But then you also hear, I hope she's okay. And you also hear, stupid.
Katja opens her eyes and steps forward, like, again, trying to keep the lights up, like, okay, everyone, I don't normally do this sort of thing. It's not in my sort of wheelhouse, but we need to come up with a plan to get out. We're all tense. We're all scared. That was a dragon. Yeah, thoughts from Emily. Is she the nothing? We're all scared.
Yeah.
Just
Sorry,
watch-
I'm nodding. Yes. There. You got nothing from Emily.
A snarling dragon was outside, so we're scared, but we've got each other, and we just need to come up with a plan. So, Badger?
Yes.
What's the plan?
Okay, so I am going over this way. Looks like Zumbo, Balthazar, and Rowan are already over that way. What I want is people finding any secret doors or tunnels. Remember to look at the ceiling. There might be a way out up that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'm not very good in the dark, hence why I need the sword. Who is good in the dark? And they can go one way, and those who aren't good in the dark can go the other.
I think most of us are pretty good in the dark, actually, apart from Helenus and you.
I can't see in the dark.
Oh, I do apologize, Slade. That was presumptuous of me.
Well, me, Helenus, and Rowan will go one way. Mayhaps take Balthazar with us.
Helenus looks to you, like she looks to you. She looks to Axakas, specifically her ankle. And she shakes her head ever so slightly, making sure that Axakas doesn't see her do it.
I don't want to leave you in the dark, Helenus. Because if I go one way, you're going to get plunged.
Helenus-
Does anyone have anything that they can cast that will leave some light here?
Kachi does reach
Good
into a
idea,
bag. He's like,
Hiram.
I have a candle. And just someone else will need to find a light for it.
Well, yes, a torch would do, wouldn't it?
I can certainly create a little, like an instantly light the candle.
Balthazar will go to Axikas and Helenus and go, oh, well, maybe I could help. And as he walks along, he will, like, as reflex, light his staff up. Oh, where'd that come from? I've got light! And his staff will now be illuminated with a light cantrip.
You mean like this?
Like that.
Ooh.
Maybe more. Can you make it more bluish then? Is that a thing?
All right,
Well, I guess
all right,
that's the problem out.
all right. Update taken. There
Ah,
we go.
yes. Love
So
it.
a blue light begins to emanate from the top of Balthazar's staff. And Axakas brings her eyes up at the sudden brightness that's just kind of flashed up in her eyes. And Balthazar, as you do that, you can very easily see.
It's 20 bright and 20 dim,
Yeah.
I think. Is
So
light
you can
catch.
just about make out the edge of. You can see where the bright end. Sorry, but yeah, in the dim light, you can also see that there are ends to these tunnels here and here.
All right, Badger, what are we looking for?
And from where you're stood, also, I should say, in front of Axakas, you can also see that Zumbo is now stood in front of what appear to be a number of pedestals, and what seems to be a wall made of vines or roots.
Okay. He'll move towards the center of the cave, I guess. And go,
Okay.
oh, right, Badger, what are we looking for?
Anything that might indicate there's a tunnel or a way through to another area. I don't know. Maybe. Does anyone know about the construction of druidic barrows?
Well, yeah. Does anyone? Would
I
anyone?
can read.
Well, maybe it's a history check time.
I can read it, but that's about it.
I'm guessing with my history check, that's it, my history check already is kind of upstanding here.
Yes, that is very true. So we'll pull you out, and then we'll put you lot in.
I think I'll probably do disadvantage if that's all right, Dad, because I can't imagine me having a clue.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems legit.
There we go.
Everyone's so 16 from Balthasar, 17 Badger. Katya, surprisingly, 23. So and Zumbo 1. Yes. And did we get one for Hiram?
Yeah, it didn't work.
Okay, hang on, I'll quickly do that one for you.
I feel like with
Name.
Katya it might be because of like, you know, being in not bars and taverns and stuff and
For sure.
hearing of all this kind of
Probably reading lots as well.
So, okay, so Katya, from the stories that you've heard of the legends of buried druids and the like, you know that druids, like powerful druids, would tend to be entombed in these kind of barrows. It's very similar to the one you have here. There are a large number of barrows that are scattered all across the forests and mountains and whatnot of Cormyr. A lot of the time, a particular druid might be buried, a barrow might be extended to have additional druids buried in the same barrow. And in actual fact, now that kind of Balthasar stepped forward a bit, and the light emanating from his staff, you can make out what seems to be like this room up ahead. Seems to be kind of sprawling with vines that are kind of growing out of the floor. You can also now see, especially with the shadows that are casting, piles of bones. Balthasar, you can see there is what appears to be some sort of kind of primal looking, if I want a better word, sarcophagus, like a tomb.
Tries to avoid looking at it.
And Balthasar stood where you are, looking in. Well, as you look away from the room filled with bones and skulls, and your eyes linger on the. Actually, where's your 20 feet? Okay, yeah, you can just see a room full of vines. Up
Yeah.
ahead.
Can we move around? I guess. Should we just
Yeah.
all have a
Yeah.
look around?
Yeah,
Move-
everyone
get
plonk
moving.
yourself where you'd like to investigate, and then we'll go from there.
As Katya walks past here, and she just gives him a pat on the shoulder as she moves to the center of the room, and she basically like gestures her sword to each opening one after another, just to keep the light rotating round, even though Balthazar's radiating light.
Sure. Okay, so Zumbo, you're stood in front of the root, the barrier of roots. Balthazar, you're in the vine room. Badger and Hiram, you're in the bone room.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to leave Badger to that area, and I'm going to go more towards where Zumbo is.
Yeah, sounds
So
good.
just so we cover more ground.
Where is Slate?
Slate is up with Balthazar.
Slate's up in the vine room. Okay, cool. So, Badger, we'll do you real quick. So, as you enter into the room that you're in, there's this peculiar. It's almost like a weight that begins to press on your chest. And it's bizarre. It's, when you start to when you start to get a bit flustered or kind of agitated, and you feel that kind of tension that builds in in your chest and in your stomach. It feels like that as you step closer towards this tomb, and like on top of this sarcophagus is this large animal head, this animal skull, sorry, of a great horned kind of woodland beast of some sort, almost like a bull or a roth or something like that. And yeah, it's stood around. You realise that the room is just littered with polished, like what they're bones and skulls and whatnot. But what you notice is that they're all cleaned. It's almost ceremonial. You look around and you kind of get the impression they're almost trophies.
Oh dear.
And as you approach the tomb, we'll jump to Balthazar and Rowan. So Balthazar, as you approach the end of the tunnel, your light that's coming from the end of your staff illuminates a rune above what it almost looks like a flower bed, if you will. You know, the earth that you're walking on is quite kind of hard and compacted, but there seems to be this almost like more softer or loamier kind of earth in front of you, with all these vines kind of sprouting out of it and sprawling across the floor. What you do notice is that emerging from the walls in this kind of spaghetti junction kind of mishmash are thorned roots, just reels of thorns emerging
brambles.
out. Brambles,
Yeah.
thank you. That's what I'm looking for. And the rune above this vegetation says Ash Mender.
All right. Can you speak to the plant?
Of
Aaron?
course.
Are they
But
friendly?
can I just ask, would Ashmender strike any kind of, or is it still going to relying on that same history, or would there be Ashmender
The
like?
circumstances have changed, so you may now make a new history check.
Come on, roll. Oh, it's a 17. That's much better.
Okay. So you recognize the name Ashmender as the name. You've heard stories of the druid Ashmender. You know that's their druidic honorific title. But as you kind of have that realization in your head, Hiram, the dark kind of tunnel you're in with your dark vision, you've stopped at what appears to be the edge of a chasm. And like in front of you is this stone sarcophagus that is festooned with a number of white, like what seem to be white stone pebbles, marble, scattered across the top, like small, spherical white stones. And it looks as if this tomb is almost just like floating in the darkness. And you would think it, you would think it was a chasm if it weren't for the rock that Zumbo threw in, which is just sat on the floor, but also looks like it is floating. And if you gently slide your foot forward, you notice that the floor appears to be painted, almost. Whereas the rest of the tomb is, a dark kind of brown, like a browny, earthy tone. It would appear that this room is, painted in some sort of dark color, encroaching on black.
I thought you meant it was painted to look like stone for a bit, and I was just like, they ran out of stone. Stone effect.
No. Sorry, I should also say that Badger, Rowan, and Hiram, Hiram, on top of this tomb, you see three white stones. Badger, you see 3 skulls besides the large animal skull. And Rowan and Balthazar, you also see 3 what appear to be like 3 totems. But yeah, Hiram, what do you do?
Hiram, before he realizes that it's just a painting, contemplates hurling himself into the chasm. Then walks closer to the sarcophagus.
Okay. So there is a moment where, despite the fact you know nothing bad will happen, you, as it feels like you're about to walk off a cliff, but yeah, your foot lands on solid ground, and like as you step up towards the tomb, what almost look like white specks begin to almost illuminate on the walls around you, and as you stop and look around, it feels like you're looking. As you look up, it feels like you're looking up at the night sky. But then as you look down, it feels like you're suspended just in the void, surrounded by these glowing white specks of light. And looking back to the 3 white stones on this tomb, you notice that there are 3 runes. 3 different runes on them. And as you kind of look at the runes, we'll switch to Zumbo. Zumbo, you're stood in front of the vines.
Yeah. So I would have shouted, not knowing where everyone's gone, I would have shouted over my shoulder that we got some pedestals here. Looks like it might be some sort of door, some sort of way out. Not sure how it opens though. And I'd be examining the pedestals. I'm looking for any obvious like buttons or anything he can push because he's a simple man, but also any of those funny markings that he's seen Rowan read. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to understand them, but he might be able to recognise them by now.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you drop me an investigation check.
Oh dear, 8.
Okay. So on a roll of an 8, you're not able to find any buttons or so. Even with an 8, there's that. You can feel that little tingle on the end of your nose. That there's something clearly magical going on here. But as you're kind of inspecting it, there's a little as if you swear one of those roots just tickled the back of your foot.
Oh, one of the roots from the earth pillar.
Yeah, just like scratched at your heel. You're
Okay.
sure of it.
I think he'd like reflex pull his rapier out and twirl and like whack it.
Okay, yeah, and you pa, and like a little bit of wood bark kind of pings off.
Would,
yeah.
would Rowan have heard / see that in the distance?
Yes, you would have. You would have heard. You would have heard Zumbo do a little swing.
Don't hurt the sacred tree. Don't hurt it. I don't think the sacred tree is that. It's a really nice tree. Be careful.
Yeah, I won't hurt it if it doesn't hurt me.
So with
Backing away.
with that warning, as you back away, as you turn around, you can see that at the end of this room, it's almost like a small garden of mushrooms, almost, and it's just a bit peculiar to see, yeah, you're not really sure what it is that's going on here, but as you get close, you almost feel at home. You feel comfortable amongst the mushrooms. It's just floating in space. Good. Right, so we'll circle back around. So, Catcher, you've just noticed everyone's just kind of wandered off into their own tunnel. What are you doing? So there's the light coming from Balthazar.
Yeah, so I think because she can see up to what Zumbo is doing, she can see where Balthazar and Rowan is, and she can see where Badger is. Could I do an investigation to try and figure out if there's a puzzle at foot? Like there seems to be 3-3. She doesn't know that Hiram's found 3, or I imagine Zumbo's going to find 3 of something. But can she do an investigation check to try and figure out if there's a puzzle at play?
Sure. Let's go with an investigation.
And that's
This place is
a
just
roll,
real
nothing
creepy.
happened, so let me know.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, I got a 5, so yeah.
Yeah. So this place just feels real creepy. Like you've heard the stories, and now you're in it. It just doesn't seem as exciting. You suspect there's probably something going on, but it's almost like you don't want to find out what it is. So
Yeah. She sort of calls out as like, Zumbo, do you need any light?
No, I'm great. You carry on. I'm having a whale of a time.
Okay.
So
I got nothing.
So as Zumbo shouts back, "You're all right," and you just kind of, you find yourself stood in the middle, just kind of not really sure what it is you want to do. You hear a voice in your head, and Badger, you hear a voice in your head, and Catcher, you turn to look at Badger almost as if to ask, did you say something? You notice the voice says, "Intruders." And Badger, as you look up,
Yeah.
Oh.
a shape begins to appear in front of you, hovering slightly over the casket, the tomb you're stood in front of.
Oh.
And the figure appears to be this brutish-looking, heavily scarred man wearing animal furs, bestial claws for hands, macabre trinkets of animal parts and whatnot festooned across him, and he looks at you with these kind of glowing yellow eyes. And Catcher, you see this figure emerge above the tomb that Badger stood in front of. But as you go up at it and take a few steps forward, another figure kind of catches your peripheral vision, Catcher, and as you turn to look, Badger and Rowan, you see
Balthazar and Rowan?
Sorry, Balthazar and Rowan, beg your pardon. A figure begins to materialize above the mesh of vines and roots in front of you.
Oh,
This
boy.
one decidedly avian in stature, wielding some sort of bizarre druidic spear, the wings splayed out and disappearing into some sort of mist, and it peers at you with glowing yellow eyes. Hiram, as you kind of float idly in space, as you kind of look up, you see what appears to be a figure, a reptilian-looking figure squatting on top of the tomb, leaning heavily on a staff topped with a skull. And as it looks at you, fins just kind of splay out the side, and a top head fin kind of sits up as if this reptilian creature pays you attention. And Zumbo, as you approach the mushrooms, so you just feel really at home. This feels nice. A plump, rotund little human woman with what appears to be massive Coke bottle, like massive wide-brimmed glasses, appears in front of you surrounded by mushrooms growing off all of her, like her shoulders and out of her ears, and she says, "Hello." What do you all do?
Is it? Oh, sorry.
Well, firstly,
Go.
we don't cross the streams.
That's a given. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Badger's going to take a few steps back.
So as you take a few steps back, yeah, the scarred man looks to you, and there's this sense of predatory look in his eyes, almost like a wolf circling its prey. And he doesn't, like, he's watching you steadily, but he isn't saying anything apart from, you know, that voice you heard in your head that said intruder. Go on, Badger.
Yeah, Badger's going to call out, everyone, there's a situation with a spectral beefy boy over here.
Yeah.
Catcher's
thank you.
looking to. Yeah, there seems to be one over there as well.
Oh no.
Good, I thought it was the mushrooms.
Hiram, are you looking at a ghost right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so is everyone.
So Catcher, as you shout this out, Balthazar and Rowan, you watch as this avian creature. Yeah, I mean, Balthazar, you actually, would you? Would
I what?
Bam! Let's go for a history check on you two, and Catcher as well, because you can see it. Bam!
Advantage or just normal?
Just normal today.
11.
Oh, I got a 10.
Would
have been better with advantage, but you know.
So Slate and Catcher, yeah, you see a birdman. You see a birdman on top of this tomb. Balthazar, you see an Aarakocra.
Okay, gotcha. We'll go. Hey there.
Ash, I think.
Do you know
it's
way out of here?
The
You'll take
Aarakocra
a step back.
tilts its head slightly as it studies you, and then it blinks a few times and then looks down at the 3 totems on its tomb. And on the totems, you see these 3 runes, and in Druidic, and you recognize the runes to say birth, life, death. Oh, Katya doesn't say that.
Oh, putting words in my mouth, Dan, literally.
So yeah, birth, life, death. And then it just, it looks back up to you, and then in your heads, you hear a voice say,
"What? The natural order must be preserved."
Oh no. Oh no.
Badger, as you kind of take a few steps back from this, from the beefy boy, as you so put it, you hear a voice in your head that says,
"The hunter must spill blood to survive."
Zumbo, the little old woman in front of you, shuffles forward, a haze emerging, kind of emanating from her, and she walks uncomfortably close up to you.
Yeah, Zumbo is shuffling back, his hand on his sword, but not like just like squirming back.
And she says,
"When life leaves the body, the cycle can begin anew."
and Hiram, the reptilian figure, the lizard folk on top of the tomb, looks down to you and says,
When there was nothing, they all arrived to create all.
And it then dawns on you, all of you in tunnels, that on each of the tombs are 3 items with different runes. And Rowan and Balthazar, you realise that these runes say birth, life, and death. And on each of the 3 tombs, there appear to be 3 spots for 3 items. So we'll start with Balthazar and Rowan.
Sorry, Dan. So there's each of the tunnels has a birth, life, and death thing.
Yes. So each of the tunnels has a tomb. Each of the tombs has 3 rocks, skulls, mushrooms.
Okay. Yeah.
On them, and what appear to be spots to put those 3 items. Those 3 items one has birth, one is inscribed birth, one inscribed life, one inscribed death.
And they're obvious, like, spots, are they? As in, if I didn't read Druidic, I would know that there was something meant to be there. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the items aren't in the...
The items are not
area.
in the spots at the moment. Yeah, so Zumbo, you've just watched these 3 mushrooms sprout out of the ground, each with these markings on them. Hiram, you've watched these runes begin to glow on the 3 stones in front of the tomb. Badger, what appears to be blood has just, magically been smeared across the skulls in front of your tomb, and there are these totems. They're almost like wooden pegs. Little wooden peg totems have had the runes inscribed on them. The ghosts, the spirits of these 4 druids look at you expectantly. We'll start with Balthazar and Rowan.
The natural order must be preserved.
Do you think we have to move the totems around?
I think so, but aren't they in the right order now?
So at the moment they're just in a pile.
Oh, okay.
Should I pick one up?
Do you read you read Druidic too?
Yeah, I can read it.
Yay! Oh, this is so much fun. Now we can write notes to each other and no one else will know what they're saying. Oh, this is amazing! Anyway, and then...
Balthazar will go to one of the totems and touch it.
Okay.
If it's fine, he will pick it up.
You do not die. No.
Okay.
And Ashmenda looks at you, raises her eyebrows and looks at you expectantly. And she this Aarakocra peers down between her feet to the tomb that she's floating above.
Can I pick a second totem?
Mm-hmm.
I will pick the third totem.
Okay.
Okay.
And as you pick, there is a warbling rumble that comes from the spirit.
Oh.
As you hold the totems, she looks down at the tomb at her feet. The three impressions that seem suspiciously totem shaped.
I think we need to bring them back to the tomb. Put them in the.
Wait, maybe one of them is right because there's 3. So what did she say? Or they said?
They said that the natural order must be preserved. So I think if we put the totems in the 3 places in the order, birth, life, and death, then we might be able to, make Ashmender happy.
Oh, natural order must be death, life. It could be. It could be life. Life must be preserved. Not death. So maybe it wants life. Badger, what do yours say?
Go on, El, before we jump across.
Can I just check? In this section here, where the vines are there 3 totem-shaped places that we need to be putting? Yeah. So I'm gonna, whilst Balthazar is walking off, I'm gonna.
We're
whatever-
going to suspend disbelief slightly, but yes, you are holding 3 totems, and there are 3 clickable, like 3 snap to fit totem spots on the tomb.
I'm gonna. Which one have I picked up? I've basically picked up whichever
choose.
Balthazar didn't.
Yeah. So you've got life.
Yeah. So I'll just put life and just put life right in the middle one and just go Balthazar, and then run off.
Okay. Yeah. So Balthazar, before you get too far, yeah, the low warbling rumble from the spirit gets louder the further you step away. It appears that the spirit is becoming agitated.
That doesn't like having too many away. Badger, what does yours say? Have you got 3 totems?
Yes.
Can Badger read them? Probably not, right?
Well.
So at the moment, yeah, Badger, you're just looking at 3 skulls that have had blood symbols marked across their foreheads.
Yes.
Can L and not L, Slate and myself go around and sort of point out to everyone which ones represent what?
I think if you were to do that, if Balthazar were to do that, Rowan would literally probably snatch the what you know what I mean, the totems.
I'll leave the 2
you.
other totems where I am, and I'll tell to Slate, wait, don't put them anywhere, just leave them for now. Let's see what the other ones are, and Balthazar will go around and sort of point out to everyone what they all mean, so that they know which one's life, which one's death, and which one's...
Slate will do the same.
Okay, so yeah, you plonk the other 2 totems back down by the vine bed, and yeah, going round, you notice that the runes for birth, life, and death are inscribed on each of the contextually appropriate items. So the 3 skulls, the 3 glowing rocks, the 3 mushrooms. And as you go round, you also see the 4 spirits that are the respective spirits that are floating above each tomb. As Badger, well, who's doing the round? Sorry, who's going around?
Balthazar
And Rowan, I think, would go the opposite way just to kind of save time.
So yeah, Rowan, Balthazar, as you go clockwise, Rowan, as you go counterclockwise. Rowan, when you get to what is effectively the last tunnel for you, you can see Zumbo stood in front, like looking up at the spirit of this rather round little old lady. She just looks quite content. It seems that she's getting a bit agitated because she's been there for a little while. But you stop for a moment, and as you peer at this old woman, roll me a history check.
I'm over there. Oh, 2, gosh.
This looks like a very peculiar old woman, actually. Yeah.
I think I'll just look at her and go, very nice mushrooms. You've got very lovely mushrooms.
She looks up to you and,
Thank you.
all right.
Yeah.
So we
everyone...
go around. We point out to everyone that so there's 1 totem of each at each of the alcoves, right?
3 totems. No.
Yeah.
What, 1 totem?
There are 3 items in each tomb. Each totem has, well, 1 says birth, 1 says life, 1 says death, and you point out which is which.
Right. I think ours wants life, because it says the natural order must be preserved, which must be life, right? And then, yeah. Here, what did yours say again?
Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle.
No.
What did your goat say?
Where there was nothing, hold on. When there was nothing, Ao a right to create all. So I assume out of character is going to be death, birth, life.
Good thing in character. So it could be all of them? And then Balthazar will go to Badger, where Badger is. Badger and Katya, what did yours say?
A hunt must spill blood to survive.
So
Sounds quite death-focused, doesn't it?
Birth, death, life?
Maybe.
and so we have life and you have death. And Zumbo, what did you get?
When life leaves the body, the cycle can begin anew. So,
And beginning in you could be birth.
yeah, so life, death, birth.
Hmm.
And then
Big-
the last one could be all of them.
Well, I think they're all.
It's an
And
order.
they're all of them. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll just go up to Balthazar. Every tomb has 3 spaces, but in each of the tombs, each of the 3 totems they have are put in a different order, I think.
So let's get all the life ones here, right, at the plant one, and then we'll get all the death ones here, and then we'll give Hiram one of each, and then we'll give Zumbo all the birth ones.
I don't think that's how it works, Balthazar.
They would not fit. You can't fit a mushroom into my sarcophagus, that's for sure. Or a skull.
Yeah.
And your bird person got very grumpy as you started walking away from it with one.
It's actually Ashmander.
Ashman. Sorry, I'll get that right if I have to refer to it again.
I don't think that's the name.
Yeah, Rowan, sorry. As you
Oh.
go round, you notice that the runes in each of the tombs there's a effectively like a name plaque above each tomb. So you note that the bones, the one in the bones rooms that Katya and Badger is in, says Bow Walker.
I'll say them as I go past as well.
Yeah. So Bow Walker.
Bow Walker?
Heavily Scarred Man is Bow Walker. Aarakocra is Ashmender.
As I'm walking past as well, I'll say, pleased to meet you, Bow Walker, and pleased to meet you, Ashmander, just to kind of be as nice as possible, even
Bow
though they're
Walker
terrifying.
snarls at you.
I'll kind of bow back terrifiedly.
The painted room that Hiram's in says Vercingetorix.
Pleased to meet you, Vercingetorix, which is an amazing name, but
And the mushroom
Friends with
one,
Asterix and Obelix.
the mushroom one says Margalith.
Do you want to point out there is no light in my room, so if you're coming on your
Yeah.
own, Rowan, you are not gonna see it.
yeah, it's not possible for me.
Yeah, so can I
I'll
have
do the rest.
someone who can actually see in the dark and translate the
There we go.
squiggles for me?
So
So I
out
can
of
do the puzzle?
Christian, out of character, what was wrong with the idea that Balthazar had?
It's
So-
basically each one has particular set of objects that only fit in their tomb. So each one is a particular order. So yours, the natural order has to be preserved. So you'd have to put your 3 runes in the natural order.
Mhm.
The hunter, you'd have to put the runes in the order of blood being spilt to survive, life leaving the body. So you have to put the objects in that room on the tombs in the order to which the spirit suggests.
Yeah. So each tomb has 3 spots, and each tomb has 3 totems that
Ash-
need to be put in
What
order.
says we can't just move the spots around?
Because
They
Ashbender-
won't fit the holes.
Ashbender
And
doesn't
then-
want to preserve life. He wants to preserve the natural order, which is you were born, you live, you die.
Mhm.
So you have to put them
And-
in the order of birth, life, death.
moving the totems away from each tomb will cause the gods.
I think it's because we tried to take 2 at a time, which wasn't.
I think you try to
I disagree.
you can take all of them and see what happens. But I think
DM,
it is-
does it look like the totems will only fit in the alcove that they must stay there? Okay.
There are
Alright.
3 skull holes, 3 skull depressions, 3 totem depressions, etc., etc. Yeah. There's only so far I can make this fantasy warp for these riddle mechanics.
I think as soon as Zombo's had the runes explained to him, he's gonna, glaring suspiciously at the ghost of the mushrooms, he's gonna get his dagger out and start cutting the
Oh,
mushrooms.
Okay.
and just starting like to place them in the spots that he's looking at the symbol and going, that looks about roughly the same, and like trying to put them in the order that he thinks, which is what did I say? Life, death, birth.
I think yours is death, birth, life.
No, that's mine. 'Cause mine was from nothing.
Oh yeah,
became
yeah,
something,
you're right.
in
Yeah,
that case, life.
life, death, birth.
I mean, he might be wrong. Zumbo's not that smart. He's guessing, really.
So, okay, so hang on, everyone. So everyone, pick your tunnels because we're gonna effectively be placing these simultaneously.
Okay.
I think Cash is going to stick with Badger.
Okay.
Julia,
I
you need to-
will.
Thanks.
I will, real
Can-
quick, allow a religion check for Hiram.
Okay.
So going, Badger?
Katya, Hunter must spill blood to survive. So what do we think? Is it going to be birth, death, life, something like that?
That's what I think. You're born. You have to then kill in order to survive.
Sure, we'll do that then.
Hiram, you.
23, by the way.
Yeah, 23 on your religion check. You know that Ao is the overgod. Ao was the first creature that arrived in the void and created what would become the Forgotten Realms, like Abil and Torel. So yeah, effectively, Ao arrived and ignited what was effectively the Big Bang, if you will.
Okay. We could make the argument for death, life, birth. In that case.
Maybe death, birth, life, because he
that was my original thought, because,
he arrives with nothing, gives birth to everything, and then there's life.
Yeah.
Is there an argument to say that maybe the totems might be okay for the totems to match others? Oh, I don't know.
I think
probably the same.
no.
They're all slightly different outlooks.
Dan's smiling terrifyingly.
It's not good, is it?
Who have we not got an order from?
I haven't written mine down, but
and Badger, you and I disagree with.
In the chat,
we do disagree. Yeah. Luckily, it's not your totem though, is it? So.
Yeah.
Hunter must spill
Actually,
blood
Matt,
to survive.
yes.
I think it was just it's kind of in the wording.
Yeah, so there's life to start with, isn't there? And then leaves the body, so death, and then birth. So I would think that's fairly.
So, for land, from what I hear, we've done birth, life, death. For moon, we're doing birth, death, life. For spores, we're doing life, death, birth. For stars, we're doing death, birth, life. I'll write
They're all
that down.
different, yeah?
I will write that down so you can see it written down. But
Okay.
that's what I heard from what everyone was saying.
Okay. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Consensus, people? Is there anything you did?
I think the land and the mushroom one, I think, pretty confident.
I am going to say that the fact that Dan made me roll a religion check and tell me that, AO is the.
I mean, that was just contextual, because otherwise AO could mean anything. But you know that AO is the first being.
Death, life, birth. I think it's death, life, birth.
Which one?
AO's death. They're creating life, and that's when birth begins.
Well,
I don't know.
Giving birth to life. He's
yeah,
created
that's true. You're right.
The spores
I think the order makes sense.
Yeah, I think
For them all.
that's where it makes sense.
I'm sticking to it.
Natural order to kill, life it's death and creates, and then from nothing, life was created.
The only thing I'm not sure about is spores, because you could argue it goes death, then birth, then life, couldn't you?
But then that's the same as stars.
It's fine.
And
Oh,
as
so
the
it is.
stars,
So it is. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So
Let's do it this way then.
I disagree with
You
the
live,
stars
you
though,
die,
because
and then the mushrooms kick off.
Also, I'm going to say
Yeah.
none of these can start with death apart from mine, because it specifically said there was nothing. With everything else, with the natural order of things, you have to have some kind of life for there to be a death.
Oh, so that means Moon would be.
Well, no, it's basically you need to spill blood to survive. So you're born, you kill to survive.
Okay.
Okay.
I personally, I think that's the order. But obviously, everyone.
Ooh, we're gonna
may-
get in a fight with some spirits if we get it wrong.
Let's hope not.
Are you
I
all?
will- Yeah, I will punish say I think they're wrong, but that's my idea. That's my opinion.
We've had a go. We had a
Yeah,
go.
I think it's a good shot. It's a good shot.
Okay.
It's good.
If it was wrong, it was so good playing with all guys. It's been a good run.
Well, we gave birth to our characters. We lived their life, and
Should we
Okay.
warn the others who are not doing the puzzles that we might potentially have a ghost fight on our hand?
Yes.
Well,
I think.
as you all place your
Wait. Before we do, sorry, can I put my hands onto the vines by where I am
Mhm.
and just see if I can get anything that's a bit different in talking to them? Be like, please be nice, please be nice, please be nice, please be nice, please be nice.
Okay, so as you plead to the vines, Badger and Katya, as you place your 3 skulls down, you feel a sense of agreement emanate from your grave.
way to go, Badger! High
And
five.
you watch as a sigil of the moon illuminates. Rowan, as you hold onto the vines, please, you feel a sense of agreement emanate from the grave. The sigil of the land illuminates.
We did it, Balthazar! We made it!
Zumbo, as you place as you plonk your mushrooms down, and they immediately spawn roots which bury themselves back into the dirt. You look up at the little old lady, and she looks down at you through her massive, wide-rimmed glasses. And you sense a feeling of agreement emanate from the spirit.
Really? Wow.
Hiram, as you place the 3 rocks which look like stars in this dark room, you look up at the lizard folk squatting on the tomb, and you sense a feeling of anger emanates from the grave. The room shakes as the painted stars begin to glow and start moving to coalesce into a constellation of a humanoid figure.
Oh god!
The figure seemingly looks at you and then pulls itself free from the wall.
Uh-oh.
Roll for initiative.
No!
Just Hiram, all of us.
All of you.
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh, we were so close.
That is actually Living
No.
Constellation is actually my nickname for myself, so just kidding. Bad joke.
See, I told you he was there making me roll that goddamn religion check for a reason.
Oh man. 12!
I constantly lose my initiative
What would the stars one have been then?
button.
It's a real
It should have been death,
Okay,
life, and
thank
birth.
you.
Death, life, and birth.
So, everyone, as we begin combat,
Jordan and Emily are missing.
we'll take a 10-minute break.
Ah,
Oh!
You tease.
See you in a bit.
See you in a
See you
bit.
in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. Click here for more videos, and click here to subscribe to the Explorers of Elsewhere.